Afternoon, we are, I think, quite late for lunch, so I was invited in spite of my session not being there. I had come with a very specific issue which I will discuss. Then later it was on very high altitude area, how this system could work in Leh Ladakh and all, because I belong to an organization, Integrated Mountain Initiative, and we work on Himalayan states from Kashmir to Nagaland, because I am also, as I mentioned, a Pahadi. So this organization works on climate change issues and sustainable livelihoods in Himalayas. So Ladakh, we are facing a problem with the tourism. The government of India gave a big focus on tourism. So, but then in tourism, we go for bigger projects. The issue of sewer management is very, very critical, because in winters the temperature go down -20, -30. So any technology which has to be there for these hotels or big residential projects which are being thought of in Leh Ladakh would require a very specialized handling, and that was my question for that session. Now, since you called me on a generic issue of this sewage treatment and decentralized, I was very happy to know that Delhi was the first to make stringent, standards. Mr. Sharabji, who retired as a member Jal Board, he was that time there in the system, and we had no direction of NGT, and we had no political direction also. And I'll tell you the background. Some saints came to meet me, sadhus came to meet me, he said, and they were very angry. He said, "You Delhiites are really making our life hell." I said, "How come?" He said, "We can't take dip in the Mathura, and so you should do something. Your sewer treatment plant don't work and sewage system is low." And I know that when we made Delhi sewerage master plan, we had only 8,500 kilometers of sewer system. We needed 18,000. So I said, okay, I'll do something. I discussed with engineers. Mr. Shala was there. So the simple solution came that let us make stringent norms. And fortunately, we had government support for funds, and we made it. It was 10 that time, UD level. So some people opposed it, very costly. How will government fund it? We said, okay, let's go ahead. It is a capital. If the capital can't do it, none else will. So that was very happy learning on this. And second aspect, which Mr. Mathuria mentioned, that project, the system of that 40% funding coming from the corporate and government funding 40%, isn't it? That's very encouraging. And my question to him is that how does the private person fund it? Do you allow the project to be machinery and land to be given as a guarantee to the bank or a funder? I think that would be very interesting, because in Delhi we tried in many cases. In Delhi, land is with the center, and so the land cannot be really, even Jal Board, anybody wants it. So many developers ran away because they said, we would develop, but then we need a guarantee. The bank needs some asset to be amortized. So that didn't work. That was in my MCD days. So now coming to this issue. First of all, my experience in Jal Board for 4 years and being in the government and working in different capacities in finance. And so all this issue of water quality and wastewater treatment turns out to be only an urban specific issue. And everybody mentioned here that that urban, yes it is. In urban also there are critical areas, metros, religious places. So that I fully agree with the previous speakers. But in this decentralized system, why should I go for decentralized system? One is the compulsion, where I don't have a centralized system. I should definitely go for that, that's right. And in the metros and in the urban areas, we'll do that. Then it should be economically viable. If the government has a choice that with the same cost, they can go a centralized system. So these are my questions. I'm not giving any solution. These are my questions for you, that let us study, but at the same time, let us understand that ULBs are in most hopeless financial situation. Local bodies, metros luckily have their own management system which is very specialized, like Delhi Jal Board is there, Bangalore would have similar, Tamil Nadu would have similar, because these mega cities have their independent water management authorities, and they're very good funding from center. Lot of lending can happen, JICA funds can come, but small municipality, let us take of in Haryana, if the Cathal is there. Now you tell Cathal municipality that please do this, and the budget would be 100 crores. Where will Cathal do that? The guys can't even pay their Safai Karmcharis, that even Delhi municipality sometimes cannot pay. So funding is very vital. So there are issues, and there I have given thought to this, otherwise in other fora, that climate change is a national agenda. We know that. Secondly, water is an element which can't be created. And in climate change, highest priority item, if I feel anything is water. Without water, no agriculture. Though we waste about 80% of water in agriculture, if there is efficient use in agriculture, we can, right? So here I would request and suggest, which we could do for Himalayan region. Last 10 years, our IMI had been pressurizing all the CMs of Himalayan states that go unitedly before the Finance Commission. We fought unitedly before 14 Finance Commission and 15 Finance Commission to have special allocation for hill states. How did we do that? We could say have 7.5% in this 14th Finance Commission allocation for forest. So there was a norm, and 7.5% allocation went to those states which had forests. So Himalayan states gained. In 15th Finance Commission, this was increased to 10%. Now I fully agree that without forest there will be no water. But at the same time, let us throw up a new idea that there should be in next Finance Commission, which is now 16th Finance Commission, to be set up by 2025. Of course, 2048, 24 will be election year, not much will happen. So before that, can we generate heat that on the climate change agenda, let us have some special allocation to those states which have more, like you mentioned, the outflow of the sewer is being generated. Rural areas, you can't go so fast. Some allocation dedicated to ULBs in the 16th Finance Commission could be provided, where we are talking of decentralized system or upgrading the technology, or we are going for implementation of upgraded norms, as experts here from CPCB and CPHO they mentioned. So if we raise this agenda now, and I am sure bigger states will be very, very happy to do it, because which are the states which are suffering most or wherever? I mean, we say that Mathura, as I mentioned, there is. All these states are, fortunately Northeast is blessed. They are in a better situation. Or even I think the Western Ghats, they are in. Of course, Kerala must be in a better position, but Karnataka and all their rivers also face it. So this is one mechanism, funding mechanism we can suggest under climate change agenda for the 16th Finance Commission altogether, that have some allocation like you kept for forest and allocation, some allocation in the 16th Finance Commission could be suggested for these innovations. Because this is again implementing the climate change agenda. So that is one issue which I think I can suggest here. And second is you mentioned about societies in Noida, they were not functional. Definitely you will charge them, you will pollute them, fine them. But at the same time, are we having some incentive, which our friend from Japan mentioned here, that in property tax, am I giving some concession? In Jal Board, I'll give you one small example, that I had always been believing that education institution, religious institution should be given some priority in tariff. We should have less tariff of property tax or water, electricity. But wherever I work, electricity or MCD or Jal Board, they charge commercial rate for all religious, right? But of course, religious people, they have a lot of money, so you can charge them. And schools, government schools, commercial rate from Jal Board, electricity. We started a scheme that you have water harvesting structure, we will get 20% rebate in your water bill. It worked. So all schools came forward, especially private schools. They were more. So similarly, you will have to have some mechanism wherein property tax you do that, or at the same time, for these cooperative societies and all who mentioned, they can do it because they have funds. These towers, these builders are coming. There, I think Mr. Shala will also agree with me, he's here from Jal Board, that have your sewer charges very high. That if you put a drop of sewer in the government system, so this builder will have to pay a very high price. They charge even today, the water charges and sewer charges. I remember in my time it was for unauthorized colonies 330 rupees per square meter. Right, but this government brought it down to I think 80 now. But that is for unauthorized colonies. Maybe, right? That's a political decision. But so we'll have to have some differential somewhere, making it harsh for those who can pay. These builders, you have decentralized. If you are joining my centralized system, you may have to pay 3 times the higher sewerage charges. Then he will say it's profitable for me to run my own. Like airport example is there, I can share with you. Only last example I'm giving. The airport wanted from us, GMR, 15 MGD. Yeah. So they said we want total 15 MGD. Finally then they said we'll take 5. We said no, we'll sanction 1 MGD. You have your sewer treatment plant, not a drop should go out and not a drop of water should go out, have your water system. Finally they agreed and Mr. Shala was in charge. We were giving them only 0.5 MLD we were giving them. From 15 MGD they came down to this and they had to be efficient because we didn't give them. Now they have got the best award in Asia for a clean airport because we were harsh on policy and we knew they can pay. Of course then they went and complained here and there. So what I am saying is that this decentralized system would need both a positive push through subsidies and local body grants to finance commission, a negative push on builders, making your sewer charges very high from them. I am not against them, but it's again an agenda for climate change. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.